Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown. I'm breaking out something from the vaults we did 2 years ago with Russell Westbrook where we did a good, bad, or meh vote on every play he was involved directly within the game, which was 84 clips. So this is going to be a doozy, but I think you might like it as you get to see what real NBA coaches do on a daily basis, which is what takes them so long, is they'll go through this like this with every player and grade them on every play. So here's what we thought Russ did in a triple-double. Whether or not he actually had a great game or not is up for debate, and here's what we found. First, let's look at his regular season numbers. Overall, he was very average at 53rd percentile, and when you look at his adjusted field goal percentage rank, it was 84th out of 105 players. You factor in assists, and he was 78th percentile, but only 49th out of 118 players. In the playoffs, his shooting has been more problematic. Looking at his shooting totals by period, you see a big drop-off as the game goes on, culminating in an 0 for 14 in the 4 overtimes. Plus, his three-point shooting in the playoffs is 18%, yet he's averaging over 7 attempts per game. Of his 38 three-point field goal attempts, 11 have been with 5 seconds or less on the shot clock. We start with Russ guarding Lee, but on the switch, he doesn't get around the huge Gasol screen and Conley scores. Tough play, meh. The ball doesn't move much, forcing Russ to create, and he makes the right play to kick to Sefolosha, who can't hit the shot. On this drive, he makes a bad decision to fade away Eurostep from 12 feet and misses this shot. From the weak side, he picks up the penetration at the perfect time and does a great job to block this shot. In transition, he gets going a little too fast, does go off the correct foot, but badly misses the gimme and the tip. On the pick and roll, he's under control, taking what the defense gives him and throws a nice bounce pass to Ibaka, who gets fouled. Here, you can see Sefolosha and Russ switch every screen, but Russ is too slow to rotate onto the shooter, who gets a wide open look. He's got to at least get a hand up. Another good decision out of the pick and roll to find Ibaka on the pop. However, Ibaka doesn't shoot it like he should and misses on the drive. There is evidence that perhaps Russ's knee isn't 100% as it buckles when he tries to run down the court. However, when they set up their offense, Russ perfectly reads that Lee turns his head and he cuts back door for the dunk. And his athletic ability is on full display on the turnover, beating Lee down the court for the ferocious dunk. In a play they run constantly, Russ sets a good pin down for KD, who doesn't set his man up properly, yet still gets open enough to knock it down. Here's a play where he gambles on defense for the steal by doubling one pass away. He doesn't get the steal, and it leads to a wide open shot. Since the shot clock expires first, we'll call it a meh. He comes down and tries to throw a one-handed lefty pass. However, it's off target enough that it forces KD to jump in the air to get it, and he has nowhere to go but to throw it away. He gets a screen from KD and does a weird sideways Euro step that almost takes Courtney Lee's head off with his wild swinging elbows. Since he hits it, we'll call it good. Same play, and this time he pulls up nicely on balance under control and nails the shot. Same exact play again, KD screening to the left this time, and kids, learn this move. A jump stop shot fake fadeaway, then explode to the hoop where he gets free throws. OKC runs the same play again to the right, and on the switch, Russ hurdles himself at the rim and finishes nicely with the layup. To start this possession, you'll see a good example of how Russ could completely focus on the ball and have no idea where his man is. Luckily for him, they miss Tony Allen, and Russ then plays perfect defense on him, meaning give him an open shot with a little bit of a hand up. Here's a questionable decision, a 10-dribble pull-up off the ball screen with his legs splayed all over the place, a big reason why his jumper is erratic. Another example of Russ out of control on the break where he loses the ball, completely travels, but somehow is rewarded free throws. As the clock winds down, he doesn't wait long enough for the screen to get set, but perfect decision to suck the defense in and kick out to a wide open Ibaka in the corner. Very strange play OKC runs with D-Fish cutting right through this pick and roll, yet Russ throws a beauty on the numbers to KD, who just barely misses getting Russ an assist. In the post, another good decision to find a wide open D-fish for the corner three, another missed assist. In horns, Russ is supposed to get a ball screen at either elbow, so it's head scratching that he just hurls himself and gets bailed out with a whistle. He makes a bad read in transition as there are three guys back to defend, and it looks like the ball was off of him, but the refs give it back to OKC. While there was weird spacing all over the place, it's not Russ's fault, and he hits Ibaka with a good, accurate pass for the jumper. Guarding Conley now, he leaves his feet, but somehow his butt knocks the ball loose, but it does give up an open look. On this Reggie Jackson turnover, an angry Russ takes 6 seconds before he even appears on screen again. Had he sprinted, he could have been involved in stopping this play. While the screen was ineffective, Russ throws an accurate pass with decent timing, something he doesn't always do. This is a bit of a weird play where Russ goes through the lane, then loops right back around while everyone else scurries around the court. Russ takes a tough fadeaway from 15 feet, but saves the possession by driving baseline and dumping off the pass to Ibaka for the dunk. While he contains Mike Miller well on this drive, he completely gambles for a steal, forcing several rotations for his teammates, and is only saved by the fact that it's Tayshaun Prince on the end of the string of passes. Russ's pull-up jumper game is above average, ranked 36th out of 125 on jumpers taken with at least one dribble beforehand, and the normal benefit of shooting them in transition is that you have teammates crashing the boards. He can't convert down low either, so this trip is meh. We showed you how poorly Russ has been shooting the three, so he should be turning these skip passes into better shots. Mike Miller got hot, and Russ should have been a step higher on the catch, but that's a deep, deep three. When you're down by 12 and good shots are absolutely needed, there is no other way to look at this three than as a bad shot. On this Reggie Jackson tough shot, Russ goes for the rebound, then doesn't hustle back on defense, where he could have picked up his man and prevented what should have been an open shot if Conley would have stayed away from these right-handed floaters. Another example of Russ forcing things in transition and simply losing his own dribble. And Russ makes a sweet back door cut. KD throws a nice pass, but he rushes it and drops the ball out of bounds. On this pin down by Lee, Russ should step back towards the lane more. Instead, he's in the wrong position and gets right in his teammate's way. This confusion directly leads to an open Conley jumper. Here's a great example of footwork as he explodes down the lane, goes off both feet with the left foot leading, pivoting sideways to avoid the charge and finish the shot. I'd like to see Russ slide less and turn and run more, but it's a good move on the clear out for Lee, and Russ fouls him. Here's a good example of him trying to be aggressive, but then taking what the defense gives him, making the easy pass on the money, and KD rewards him with the assist. Down by 15, OKC absolutely needs great shots, and with the way Russ has been shooting it, this ain't it. Russ ranked a bit below average in transition during the regular season, and he'll come down without being in control, dribbling the ball off the foot of Conley and wasting an opportunity to score. And Russ did it again on the drive, dribbling the ball off of Randolph's foot for the turnover. On this defensive possession, Westbrook rotates nicely off his man to contest this shot, even though it goes in. Here's a great example of when Russ should drive this ball for a better shot with 7 seconds on the clock. Instead, he misses yet another three. OKC's ice defense is all over the place, and here Durant looks like he's getting in position to contain the ball handler, but Russ doesn't force Udrih away from the screen. This gets Udrih an open look and a score. On this post-up, Russ helps one pass away and gives Udrih an open look at a three. Fortunately for OKC, it doesn't go down. On this pick and roll, Russ expertly brings the defense towards him, then hits Ibaka on the numbers for the and one. He even played the high post in horns, cutting through and using his great jumping ability to keep this ball alive, then hitting Caron Butler for an open three and the assist. OKC made a run at the end of the third, and Russ and Ibaka hook up for a sweet pick and roll with Russ threading the needle on the assist. Here's another example of ice not being played properly by Ibaka, who comes up too high and can't contain the penetration. That said, Russ gives up on the play and doesn't even attempt to crash the boards. Blame Scott Brooks for not having any other play in his book for end of quarters besides Russ dribbling down the clock and shooting the three. However, he gets this one to go down. And another great example of help rotation as he gets the ref to give him the charge, even though he clearly moves up into the man at the last second. On this drive, he maintains his composure enough to jump pass to Kevin Durant, getting the ball to him so he can drive and nail the jumper. With the way he's shooting, especially in fourth quarters, having not gotten a rest since midway in the second quarter, I just don't think this is a good decision to jack up the shot without passing the ball. While he does get beat on this drive, look how he makes up for it with this crazy good block. And this was one of those what moments where I guess he thought barreling down the court out of control was going to get him free throws. I know there's an argument that he's really good at these no-pass pull-up jumpers in transition. I'm not a fan, but at least Collison is there to knock it to Butler for the layup. Russ reads this pick and roll perfectly, knowing Gasol has no hope of keeping up with him on the drive, and I like the step-through righty finish. Under control, Russ goads Tony Allen into helping a little bit one pass away, and he gets a good pass to KD, who knocks it down. Instead of getting the ball moving after the first ball screen didn't work, Russ keeps at it, ignoring two wide open good shooters on the left side to force a pass that gets stolen. This time, Russ finds D-Fish, who gets a decent look but slams it off the backboard. Russ makes a poor decision on this pick and roll, allowing Gasol to contest this pull-up jumper instead of driving right around him like he had done earlier. When he makes the simple play, like this drive and kick, he can get open jumpers for his teammates. Whether they make them is a different story. By now, you might have noticed how unimaginative the offense is, but when Russ can get a pick and into the lane like this, Scott Brooks probably feels like you don't need much else. It's been established Russ has a problem defensively on the weak side, yet Memphis didn't really exploit this all night. In a crucial moment, however, they get Conley catching a dribble pitch, Russ is a step slow, then does the playground reach around, allowing Conley to hit that darn righty floater. Down 3, he doesn't pass to KD, who wants the ball in the high post, then dribbles over to him, gets it back, and with an opening to drive, decides to shoot yet another 3 that doesn't go down. Another example of ice as Russ forces Conley away from the screen, but Durant is nowhere to be found. Scott Brooks needs to fix their pick and roll defense in a hurry. Another great pick and roll as Russ uses the snake dribble to get back to the middle of the court and Butler gets the 4-point play. I'm not a fan of this fake ball screen then swing to the real ball screen action, and it's well defended by Memphis. But Russ gets a ball screen on top and does just enough to coax the foul out of the ref. Yet again, Durant doesn't get in proper position for ice and lets Conley get all the way to the hoop for a layup, but he blows it. On this crucial defensive possession, Russ is not in the stance, walking around out there, and then isn't prepared for the ball screen, getting taken out and giving up a wide open 3 that could have ended the game. Down 2 and with the seconds ticking away, OKC needs some sort of play to be made if they have any hope of winning this. And Russ does just that, thoroughly embarrassing Conley with this rip and finish. In overtime now, this Met shot is more a function of the completely stagnant offense that Brooks runs, and Russ is simply not hitting his outside shot. However, KD is able to tip this in. Interestingly, OKC does not switch this screen, and rather than try and beat Conley to the spot, Russ goes for the playground reach around again, which collapses the defense and gets this shot open for Mike Miller. Here's a great decision by Russ on the KD ball screen to slip a pass to him quickly and let him do his thing. Poorly executed offense here as Russ gets way too close to where KD is cutting to, allowing Conley to gum up the works. However, another ball screen and snake dribble gets him an opening and nice dump off for the Ibaka layup. Russ runs this pick and roll with Ibaka, is patient, doesn't force anything, then finds Serge with a nice pass that he can do something with. On this defense, Russ doesn't show awareness that he's about to get screened and he ends up out of position, giving up another good look at a 3, however, good effort to contest. Russ commits his third playground reach around, and this one was crucial as it allowed Conley a clear path to the hoop for a tie-breaking layup. And another issue we pointed out many times in the past reared its ugly head at the most inopportune time as Russ jumps off the wrong foot on this layup and blows what would have been a game-tying shot. So there you have it, sports fans. Russ is having a titanically bad shooting playoffs. In fact, historically bad. And he needs to avoid shooting those threes and make more of these drives to the hoop to create free throws because right now it's just not happening from the perimeter. And as you can see, he had a triple-double, made 39 amazing plays, but he also made the 31 bad plays. And of the meh, I would say there was about 4 or 5 of the 13 that were really not his issue, but were bad plays that weren't his fault, but I had to count them as something. So you really are getting close to being half and half. And if this is what you mean by letting Russ be Russ, then he isn't as valuable as you might think, because guys like CP3 don't make the kind of bad plays that he does. Now, certainly he might make better plays than they can with his athletic ability, but in the long run, you don't want that kind of up and down, match good for bad. It won't get you to where you want to go, which is the NBA Finals and the title. Well, thanks for joining us. Lots more coming up and crazy playoffs coming on here. We've got a court call coming up for a couple different series. And don't forget, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in?